Now, Salt Spring Island is a unique and wonderful place. It's known for its natural beauty, its amazing people, and of course, its food. Well, Jana Roerick is a big part of that tasty life on Salt Spring, and she has published a book full of recipes from her bake shop. It's called The Little Island Bake Shop. Jana, welcome. So nice to meet you.
Thank you, and an honor to be here.
Wow, you brought in some beautiful food here, which we'll talk about in a moment. But I would love to hear, where did your love affair with baked goods begin?
Well, I grew up in a small community on Toronto Island that was full of bakers, amazing bakers. And just being in that tidy space like that, you got to try everybody's hand at what they did. And I think that inspired me. I don't think I realized it at the time, but it certainly has inspired me now. I can see that.
Okay, so where do you make the leap then to Salt Spring and opening your own bake shop?
Well, I've only ever lived on island, so I went from Toronto Island. I lived in Trinidad and Tobago. I worked in Trinidad and Tobago, and then I wanted to come back to Canada. I felt like my career wasn't over yet. I still had more to do. So then we moved to a moderate climate being Salt Spring Island. That's where we landed.
I see. Okay, and then into the bake shop.
2002, I moved there. 2003, I'd opened my own bake shop. And that's just where it started. And I've had 4 locations since then, having to move, a variety of reasons. But now I'm where I am, and I love my spot where I am now.
Well, it's obviously working for you.
Working very well. The community loves us. We do very well there. They don't want me to leave, so I'm just working hard and making everybody happy.
Well, it's great to hear. I mean, okay, the community loves you, but you've got to be bringing the good stuff to them as well. So what would you say is like your signature?
We're very well known for our pies. Our pies, the balance of flavors and sweet and sour, and our pastry, everything's in there, and it's just what people love, what they come back for time and time again.
It's a beautiful book. Okay, does it depend on the season, what kind of pie I would get?
Yes, it would depend on the season, and if we're out of season, then I have fruit stored from the season. I just take as much as I can during the season, plums, strawberries, raspberries, whatever I can get. I store it really well, and then that becomes part of the pies later in the season when there's nothing available.
I see. And how do you source your ingredients?
Through the farmers. Very, very in contact with farmers. And even just local people who have a garden and they have too many plums or too many apples. Oh yeah, I need such and such. Okay, bring it over. I'll buy it from you. Oh, no, we'll just give it to you. It's okay.
That's nice. I can't just sit here and look at these. Yeah. So tell me what you've brought in for us today.
So this is the quintessential Canadian favorite, the butter tart, that I've worked my whole career to master.
Okay, wait a second. Let's just stop at the butter tart for just a moment. What's the secret to a great butter tart? Because it's just like, I'm just looking at the topping here, this caramelized kind of deliciousness that's just calling to me.
Everybody has their favorite way of the butter tart being. For me, the filling has to be right in the center, not too wet, not too dry. So it's fairly thick, so that when you bite into it, you really get a good custardy butter tart feel.
Okay, I'm going for that. Donuts, but this is not
pumpkin donuts.
Pumpkin donuts.
This came from back in the day when my mom and I used to run our carts up and down the streets of Toronto Island. And I said, when I do a second book, those are going to be in there.
What do you mean you run your carts? You used to sell these on a cart in Toronto Island?
That's right. Yeah.
That's fun. And this is basically the same recipe?
Basically the same recipe, yes. And this is buttery pastry with cream cheese on the bottom and cherry on top.
Oh, that looks fun. With the cherry on top. Isn't that appropriate?
Yep.
Okay, obviously it's working for you on Salt Spring right now. You are loved, you are appreciated. Where would you like to see this going? You've put out a book now?
We're doing a lot of custom orders now, and that's really our focus, the custom orders. We're only on Salt Spring as it stands. I get lots of requests for Vancouver and Victoria. Our pies have flown to Hong Kong. Yeah, but I think the custom orders is really what our focus is, in getting a little bit creative with cakes and just branching out a little bit more.
Beautiful. Okay, but just making this foray into your own cookbook now, how would you like people to use this cookbook?
The way we designed it is we made it accessible. So it's nothing tricky. It's nothing like you have to go and buy a whole tin of this for 1 teaspoon. It's very accessible, and it's the go-to book. It's got your basics in there. It's got your pastry, it's got your custard, it's got the cream cheese filling, it's got a basic icing, so a basic cake that you could go to. So it's basically what it does is it doesn't, you don't have to search far and wide to find the recipe you want. You could go to Little Island Bake Shop and say, hey, there's the recipe I need to make that cake.
Well, thank you for bringing some of your
You're
Salt
very
Spring
welcome.
magic into our
Yeah.
studios today.
Yeah.
Can I try the butter tart
You
now?
better believe it, yeah.
Jana, so nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you so much.